The knife was halfway through the fondant when the red dot bloomed on my chest like a second heart, perfectly still, perfectly centered. My mother-in-law smiled and raised their glass. Not a toast, a signal. The lights died. The doors slammed shut. My wife screamed my name like it was already a memory. "Mom, stop," she cried. Her mother leaned into the microphone, louder teen, and practiced. "Say goodbye, darling. The inheritance is mine." That is when he understood. She didn't hear security. She heard an ending. Everyone else froze. He didn't he? He'd already accepted something most people never do. When that arrives early, panic is optional. She thought Uno was just a groom. She forgot what he used to be. He slid the cake knife free and leaned close to my wife. My face never shook. "Close your eyes." He met her mother 5 years earlier over brunch and bloodless smiles. She wore pearls and spoke in contracts. She shook my hand like she was checking for weaknesses. He passed every test she invented, or so he thought. My wife saw, worked where he saw calculations. He let her. Love makes you generous with blind spots. The first betrayal wasn't allowed. It never is. It was the prenuptial she insisted on revising 3 weeks before the wedding. The often questions about my service record, the sudden interest in my schedule. He noticed patterns because a pattern recognition kept me alive once. She was mapping me. Then came the message, not meant for me, never sent to me. A burner phone dropped by accident, left charging in a guest room. A single line on the screen lit up in the dark. Confirmed when we locked down. Inheritance clears at sorrise. He didn't confront her. He didn't warn anyone. He started preparing. Revenge is tirage. Rage is sloppy. Revenge is paperwork, patience, and silence. He rerouted us into trash she couldn't touch. He updated wills she didn't know existed. He recorded conversations where she mistook my calm for ignorance. He let her believe the wedding was her victory lap. He let her think he was walking into her trap, smiling because Uno was. Back in the dark hall, chaos breathed around Stati Uniti. Guests cried. Someone prayed. The red dot stayed on my chest, unwavering, confident. He moved when her laughter peaked. He wanted to describe what followed. Not because Uno can't, because it doesn't matter. What matters is that plans collapse when they're built on arrogance. The doors reopened before dawn. The power returned, and the people she paid never collected. By sorrise, the wedding wasn't a celebration. It was a reckoning. She sat across from me, wrists restrained, pearls scattered on the floor like cheap lace. The microphone was still live. She hadn't thought to turn it off. He leaned close enough for only her to hear. "You taught me everything Uno needed to know," he said, about leverage, about timing. I served my face for mercy. She found none, just calm. Authorities arrived with evidence neatly packaged. Financial trails, recorded threats. Signed orders she forgot he decopied. The inheritance she killed for, frozen, redirected, gone. My wife stood beside me, shaking but standing. She looked at her mother like she was seeing a stranger crawl out of familiar skin. "I'm sorry," her mother whispered. He didn't let my wife answer. "She is not the one you owe," he said. Now, in the quiet after, he replied all without regret. He don't feel proud. He feel finished. Betrayal cuts deepest when it wears a smile. Justice doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be final. She thought the night belonged to her. She thought power came from pulling strings in the dark. She was wrong. Some of Stati Uniti were trained to survive wars. Some of Stati Uniti know how to fight. And some weddings end exactly the way they should with the truth.